Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through all the noise, really get into the latest research, and pull out those key insights you can actually use.
Exactly. And we focus on, peer-reviewed science-backed stuff. We
Right.
try to break down those complex studies, lose the jargon so you get the core ideas. Orium's Fitz Research Digest actually does a great job with this kind of thing, too.
Okay, so here's something to think about, especially if you're really dedicated to your sport or, your fitness journey.
Hmm.
What if there was a way, a scientifically backed way, to boost your performance, maybe break through those plateaus, and maybe even see results in just a few weeks?
Okay, I'm listening.
Well, today we're going to dig into the honestly surprising science of electrostimulation exercise, EMS, and how it could potentially change up your training.
That's right. Electrostimulation, or ES, sometimes EMS. We're looking specifically at how competitive athletes use it for, well, performance optimization.
And we're basing this on some solid research.
Yep. Primarily a key technical report by Dr. Nicola Maffioletti. It was published in the International Journal of Sports Physiology and Performance. It really gets into the weeds of the technology.
Got it. So for listeners who maybe vaguely know about electrostim, maybe think it's just for rehab or something,
Yeah.
how does it actually work on muscles for exercise?
Okay, so at its core, ES uses electrical pulses applied to the muscles.
Right.
Think tiny electrical signals sent in bursts through electrodes you stick on the skin.
Okay.
These go over specific spots, motor points, where the nerve connects really well to the muscle, makes it easier to trigger a contraction.
So the machine basically tells the muscle to contract.
Pretty much, yeah. Pre-programmed units deliver specific patterns. Your muscles contract without you consciously, firing them up.
Oh. I always had this image of it being, like you said, just for injuries or maybe a bit of a fad, but it sounds like there are real distinct applications.
Definitely. And the tech has come a long way. Well, now you have these portable stimulators, relatively low cost too, which means coaches and athletes can actually get their hands on them. That wasn't always the case.
Right. Makes it much more relevant for people listening. Now, the report talks about two main types or modes of ES.
It does. There's a low-frequency mode, usually under 15 hertz.
Okay.
That one's often used by endurance athletes, sort of aiming for better recovery.
And the other?
That's the high-frequency mode. We're talking above 40, maybe 50 hertz. This is the one used more for improving muscle strength and power, especially in anaerobic sports, sprinting, jumping, that kind of thing.
So recovery versus power.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the report focuses more on the high-frequency stuff. Is
Yeah.
that because it just works better?
It's more about the evidence, really. The report points out that while lots of endurance athletes use low frequency for recovery, there isn't actually strong scientific proof it enhances recovery significantly better than other methods.
Interesting. So it's popular, but the science isn't quite there yet.
Exactly. Its presumed superiority hasn't really been demonstrated. High frequency, on the other hand, targets strength and power directly. Those are easier to measure, and the effects on performance are clear.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, Dr. Maffioletti's report really zooms in on that high-frequency ES, sometimes called neuromuscular ES, because the performance benefits are more established.
Right, clearer results. So what are the big differences between these two modes then, besides the hertz number? Is it just how strong the zap feels?
Well, that's part of it. But yeah, the key distinctions are frequency, like we said,
Okay.
then the stimulus amplitude, how strong the current is.
Okay.
Low frequency is sub-maximal, generally painless. High frequency often goes for maximal, and yeah, that can be uncomfortable, even painful.
Maximal mean.
Meaning it tries to get the muscle to contract as hard as possible, and that leads to the third difference, the force produced. Low frequency might get you less than 10% of your maximal voluntary contraction, like how hard you could squeeze that muscle yourself.
It's a little twitch almost.
Yeah, sort of. But high frequency aims for way more, like over 50% of your max effort. Sometimes it feels like a full-on involuntary maximal contraction.
Wow, okay, so one's mild, the other is really intense. Why would an athlete who's already training hard voluntarily add this? What's the logic?
Good question. There are really two main ideas driving this. First, ES recruits motor units in a unique way.
Unique how?
It tends to activate the fast motor units, the powerful ones, even when the overall force level isn't super high yet. This creates a different kind of stress neurologically and metabolically than you get from normal training.
So it's like hitting the muscle system from a different angle, a new kind of stimulus. That could be really beneficial, right?
Exactly. It's a novel stressor. It could push adaptations that maybe wouldn't happen otherwise or happen slower. It's not just about making the muscle bigger. It might actually, improve how the brain controls the muscle too.
Ah, interesting. The neural side.
Precisely. That rewiring or optimization seems key to the rapid gains you sometimes see. And the second big reason, time.
Time, how so?
An ES session is usually really short, maybe 12 to 15 minutes.
Wait, 12 to 15 minutes per session.
Yep. Compare that to a typical strength training workout.
Which can be an hour? Easy. Wow. That is incredibly appealing, especially for athletes juggling training, competition, life.
Definitely. Time efficiency is a huge factor.
Okay, but the big question is always, does it actually work?
Yeah.
Let's get into the results from Dr. Maffuletti's research. Where was this work done?
A lot of the research reviewed came out of the Schultes Clinic's Neuromuscular Research Lab in Zurich, highly respected place.
And the typical program looked like?
Generally, athletes would do about 30 to 40 maximal contractions in a session,
Okay.
doing maybe 3 to 5 sessions a week for about 3 to 5 weeks total. So it's a pretty focused, short-term intervention.
Right, designed to see results quickly. And what did they find? Let's talk strength first.
They found significant improvements in maximal strength, particularly in the legs, the lower extremities.
And this wasn't just in one type of athlete.
No, that's the interesting part. They saw benefits across a whole range of sports. Swimmers, track and field, weightlifters, basketball, volleyball players, even ice hockey and rugby.
That's broad, really broad. Can you give us a number? Like, how much stronger are we talking, especially compared to regular training gains for someone already fit?
Okay, so some studies reported athletes getting up to a 15% increase in lower body strength.
15%.
Yeah, after just those 3 to 5 weeks of ES training.
Wow. For a trained athlete, getting even a few percent gain can take months. 15% in weeks, that's huge.
It really is. It's the kind of jump that could make a real difference in competition.
Okay, what about power? Explosive stuff like jumping or sprinting. Did ES help there too?
Yes, in some cases, they saw improvements in anaerobic power as well.
Meaning?
Things like vertical jump height getting better, sprint times improving, which, directly impacts performance on the court or field.
Absolutely crucial. Any numbers on those improvements?
The review mentioned improvements of around 10 to 15% for vertical jump and sprint performance.
Again, really significant numbers for elite athletes. 10–15%, that's massive.
It can definitely be a game changer at that level.
So how is this happening? Is it just bigger muscles or is something else going on? You mentioned the neural side earlier.
Right, and that seems to be a big part of it. The gains are largely thought to be due to neuromuscular adaptations.
Meaning the connection between the nerves and muscles gets better.
Exactly. Increased muscle activation. And interestingly, even though people used to think ES was mostly just stimulating the muscle locally, it seems there are significant effects on the central nervous system, too.
So the brain gets involved, learns to fire the muscles better.
It appears so. It's like your whole system is adapting, learning to send stronger, more coordinated signals, a kind of deep physiological adjustment.
Okay, clearly it's powerful, but nothing's perfect. What are the catches, the caveats? Can athletes just ditch their squats and plug themselves in?
Definitely not. That's a key point the report makes. ES training gives you strength and power gains that are similar to voluntary training, and they complement it, but they aren't greater than it.
Right. So it adds to but doesn't replace the hard yards in the gym.
Precisely. It's a supplementary tool. Think of it as an addition to, not a substitute for, traditional training methods.
And who might benefit most from adding it in?
It seems particularly useful for athletes who've kind of hit a wall. Trained consistently for years, performance has plateaued. ES might offer a new stimulus to break through that.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense for experienced athletes. What about complex movements, like a jump shot or a complex lift? Does ES help with the coordination aspect?
Not directly, no. The report's clear.
Yeah.
For complex skills needing high levels of coordination, you only get the full benefit if you combine ES with voluntary technical practice, like doing plyometrics alongside your ES sessions.
Right. You need both. Strengthen the muscles with ES, practice the specific movement pattern voluntarily.
Exactly. You need the whole package.
Are there downsides? You mentioned maximal and sometimes painful current. That doesn't sound fun. Is athlete buy-in an issue?
It can be. The report does mention athlete reluctance sometimes because, yeah, feeling strong involuntary contractions can be uncomfortable.
I bet.
It's definitely intense. But, for an athlete chasing peak performance, a few minutes of discomfort might seem worth it for those kinds of gains. It's a trade-off.
Makes sense. Any areas where we still need more research? It sounds pretty well studied, but science never stops, right?
True. The report suggests more work is needed on maybe finding ways to get the benefits of high-frequency ES, but with less discomfort, like using lower force levels, maybe 10–20% of max, to see if that can still selectively target fast fibers without being painful.
Okay, like a smarter, not harder approach.
Potentially. And also, more research is definitely needed on that low-frequency ES for recovery. Given how popular it is, we need better evidence to really understand if and how it works.
Right, fill in those knowledge gaps. So let's bring this back to the listener. If you're someone passionate about your training, pushing yourself in your sport, what's the big takeaway here?
Well, I think it highlights that a structured EMS program could be a really potent tool, especially for boosting lower body strength, helping with explosive activities like jumping and sprinting.
And the time efficiency is a huge bonus.
Absolutely. It's not about replacing your current training, but maybe think of it as a potential way to supercharge it, especially if you feel like you've stalled out a bit.
It could unlock that next level.
Potentially, yeah. If this whole dive into EMS technology has got you thinking, maybe wondering how you could actually use this. Well, there are tools out there designed for exactly this.
Right, like Orium's Fit, for example. They make portable muscle stimulators that use this EMS technology. They're designed to be effective, easy to use.
And they seem well regarded.
Yeah, actually, their ultimate devices won Best Product of the Year for both 2024 and 2025 from productreview.com.au, which is pretty impressive considering there were like over 68,000 nominees.
Wow. Okay.
Plus, they've got tens of thousands of users globally, nearly 500 Google reviews averaging 5 stars.
Okay.
So, yeah, seems like a trusted name.
Good to know. So recapping today, high-frequency electrostimulation looks like a solid science-backed tool. It can enhance muscle strength, boost anaerobic power.
Especially useful for athletes hitting plateaus.
Exactly. A valuable complement to traditional training, offering unique benefits and saving time.
So the question for you listening is, could adding EMS strategically be that specific, time-efficient boost you need? Especially if you've been pushing your limits for years. Definitely food for thought.
And if you want to dig even deeper into Dr. Matthew-Letty's report or other studies like this, check out the Orium's Fit Research Digest online. They link to the original research, too.
Great resource.
It really breaks down the science in an accessible way.
And while you're on the Orium's Fit site, you can explore their other wellness products, too, including those muscle stimulators.
Oh, and they also have something called the Neck Theater.
Neck Theater, what's that?
It's actually an 8D audio device for immersive sound, but it doesn't block your ears, so you stay aware of surroundings. Just to be clear, it is not a massager at all. Totally different tech.
Ah, interesting. Audio, not massage. Got it. Well, thanks, everyone, for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
If you found this useful, maybe share it with someone, leave us a comment or a review on Spotify, follow the show. It all helps us build this community.
Definitely. Until next time, keep digging for those insights.